Hello Pisces and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Pisces, we're going to jump on in looking at the overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. So we're going to start with getting the overall theme of this reading. Looking at what we're going to be talking about today. Power. Transmute, good fortune. Ooh, okay. So I like this because this is definitely this indication that, you know, you guys have been through a lot, and maybe even recently have been through a lot. But it's about taking what you've been through and transmuting it into power, into abundance, into good fortune, not letting life knock you down, or even if you do get knocked down, picking yourself up and being able to move forward in a way where you're using the things that you've been through to transform yourself and your life for good. That's a lot of what I think our life and our spiritual journey is really about, is taking the things that we've been through, and transmuting it into our power, into our faith, into our abilities. So obviously this is an overall theme, but I do feel like this is a really, just seeing the word power, the card power, I just feel like this is a really powerful reading for you guys. Just right out of the gate. But let's look at this, starting with this past energy, Pisces. I look back at some of the hardest things that I've been through in my life, some of the worst periods of my life, and I'm actually very grateful for those periods, not necessarily because, I want to do it all again, but the growth that came from it, the healing and the evolution that I was able to experience, but because of those those things, that's essentially what led me to the life that I have now. And when we learn to look at our life through the lens of how can I help this, or how can I use this to help my life in some way, we start to find ourselves actually using our experiences, that we find purpose. We find purpose in our experiences, purpose in our pain, things of that nature. You have your dreams need a practical plan. This is recent past for Pisces. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's a lot of cards. A new start is coming. Your hard work is paying off. Okay. So this feels like hitting... It feels like obstacle and challenge after obstacle and challenge. Putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort into something, into your life, into your path, into a job, a career, whatever the case is. And just feeling like no matter how hard you try, just obstacle and challenge after obstacle and challenge. One of the things that I've learned is that our obstacles and our challenges in our life, we can either let those break us, or we can look at them as opportunities. Opportunities for divine protection or divine redirection or growth, healing, expansion in some way. And when we look at it through the lens of growth, expansion, happening for us in a way that we might not be fully aware of in the moment, we tend to actually come out the other side better, stronger, more knowledgeable, more, wise, and we're able to take our life to certain places that we wouldn't be able to if we hadn't gone through those things. So I do feel like there's a lot of struggle in this energy, but I don't see even an inkling of giving up. I feel like no matter what, Pisces, you really just keep kind of moving forward, and there's a lot of power within that already. But I also can relate to just getting tired of continuing to pick yourself up, continuing to have to move past obstacle and challenge after obstacle and challenge, which is why I do feel you have this a new start is coming. That, eventually we do kind of get to a place where we break free of these things and we start to experience things getting a little bit easier, not in the sense that our life stops giving us obstacles and challenges, but we get stronger, we have more faith, we handle things, from more of a healthy place, and therefore it's just easier to kind of navigate our life in some way. But I feel like that's kind of the energy that you're heading toward. I feel like the energy that you've been in is like I said, obstacle and challenge after obstacle and challenge. And you do have this, you and your loved ones are safe here. So just knowing you are very guided and you are very protected, I think is really important. So where is Pisces at right now? Current energy for Pisces. Work through your fears. Show the world the real you. You and your loved ones are safe again with luck is on your side. So you're I'm dealing with a Pisces that's kind of over the BS. It feels like you're almost changing your approach in some way. Like maybe you've been before, you wouldn't speak up as much, or, would kind of hide how you feel, or maybe push certain things to the side. And I feel like you're kind of over that. It's like you've been through too much to hide yourself anymore. And it's interesting because I feel like that's what that's what your power is all about, showing up authentically and trusting in your desires and your capabilities that they're going to get you to where you're trying to go. So it's kind of interesting because it almost feels like you've been pushed to your limit through, obstacle and challenge after obstacle and challenge, and you're so over it that it's almost like you're stepping into your power because you're looking back and you're like, well, that just isn't working for me. And I'm done with these experiences. I'm done with these types of people. I'm done with these dynamics, whatever the case is. I'm done with this cycle and I'm going to do things differently now. And it's like you're going through a really personal transformation. And that transformation is what's going to take you to new heights here. But it's like you wouldn't be stepping into this version of yourself if you hadn't have been through the things that you've been going through. And I don't want to glorify your struggles or be like, you should just be so grateful, regardless of what you've been through, because that's not realistic, nor is that healthy, to just, romanticize even the hard parts in our life. But I do really feel like it feels like you're kind of rising from the ashes in a way. And you wouldn't be doing this if you weren't knocked down back here. And there's a lot of fear. It doesn't mean you're just this, you're fearless about it. I think that there might be, fear and second guessing and, oh my God, what's going to happen? Where am I going to end up? But that it's like you're showing up in this powerful version of yourself despite the fear, despite the second guessing, despite the doubt. And that's what's so powerful about it and about this energy. So where is this taking Pisces? To me, looking at this good fortune here. Time to take action. Don't let your past hold you back. Ooh, I like this. It's like you move forward, bring love into the situation if you are good enough. It's like you move forward in such a powerful way. It's like if I were to just kind of summarize it, it feels like you're leaving behind a more timid, maybe shy or unconfident version of you, and you're stepping into a very different, like it's like a complete 180, like someone who is so confident and outspoken, but it doesn't necessarily need to be those qualities. It feels like you're the powerful version of that you're stepping into, which you've been all along. It just feels like it's almost like maybe even something triggered you into it. And you were just like, hear me roar almost. And then because of that, because of this powerful energy you're stepping into, you start showing up in that way. And because you start showing up in that way, you're not letting things slide anymore. You're setting the boundaries. You're asking for help and for your needs to be met. You're not settling for anything less. Like that's what's eventually, that's what's going to lead you to this good fortune. So it's a really cool reading for you guys. And to be honest with you, I think that it's something that has been a long time coming. It's like everything's kind of been building to this transformation in a way. I'll be shocked. Let's tell you right now. I'll be shocked if we don't see the death card. Just in terms of of transformation. And I think that this transformation that you're going through, it maybe has been happening over a long period of time. So maybe it's not so obvious that it's happening. But I feel like you're kind of stepping into that energy of fully embodying it. All right, so what does Pisces need to know about this past energy? What has Pisces been dealing with? Obstacle and challenge after roadblock, after challenge after obstacle. Maybe after heartbreak, after getting screwed over. It's like just one thing after another. Past energy for Pisces. Ace of Wands in reverse. And again, I think that this is kind of this energy of like hiding yourself or making yourself small, or maybe doing things to appease others or to make others happy, or I don't know. Then you have this Justice in reverse. Like more worried about maybe like other people's happiness and kind of putting your needs and your desires on the back burner. And it's like, yeah, it's like you were doing this for so long, maybe taking care of everybody else around you and prioritizing everything and everyone around you. And it just wasn't working. Justice in reverse, 9 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands. The Sun in reverse. I feel like it's like the 2 of Wands crossed with the Sun in reverse, but because of the way that came out. But oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So many freaking reverse cards. 6 of Pentacles in reverse, and then there's the 2 of Cups. So being in this space where maybe, you have, because you obviously have a lot to give and you bring a lot to the table, but just feeling consistently undervalued, underappreciated, not seen, not heard, not respected, not whatever. And it doesn't need to be like in general. I mean, I feel like you could take this in a couple of different ways. It could be like about a specific situation, like about a specific job or a specific relationship, or it could be like kind of just in general. Like maybe you can, apply this to some relationships. Maybe you can also apply it to your career, like whatever kind of comes through, right? That's why this is a general reading. But I feel like, and whatever this is that you're dealing with, it just feels like a long time of pouring your heart and your soul and your mind and your body and your spirit into everyone and everything around you, and just consistently coming up short. Just consistently feeling like no matter what, it wasn't enough. It wasn't valued appropriately. It wasn't treated with respect. And it's important for you to know that what you have to give and what you bring to the table absolutely is enough. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. And when we're being undervalued despite what we bring to the table, it doesn't mean that we aren't valuable. It often means that we're overvaluing what it is that we're pouring into and undervaluing ourselves. And maybe, for a lot of us, we're taught to do that, right? We're taught that our value comes from how valuable we are to others. But you are an inherently valuable human being with a lot to give, a lot to, a lot of value. And the people in your life, the experiences that don't see that, it's not that you're not good enough for them. It's that they're not aligning with your value and your worth. Now, I feel like that's why there were so many obstacles and challenges and setbacks and things in this energy, is it's almost like spirit, it's like you had to get pushed to your limit, almost to snap. And I'm not saying snap as in like, oh, you went crazy or you overreacted. Okay, that's not what I mean. It's like you had to get to this point where you were like, oh, okay, like enough is enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I've done everything that I can to make this work. I've done everything that I can to pour into this, to be what I'm supposed to be valued by this. I'm done. And it kind of feels like it pushed you into a whole new state of mind, of showing up. And like go, you're just kind of like it's kind of like a screw it mentality, but not in a way where it's like you're giving up or you're just like screw this. Like that's what this feels like. And now I feel like because of this, it's a lot of reverse energy. Yeah, gosh, because of this, it's like you're turning the tables. You're flipping the script a little bit. So where's Pisces? What does Pisces need to know about their current energy? Like, you were so patient and so giving and so understanding for so long, and it's like, have you ever seen that, it's like this joke, it goes around, I've seen it on several different social media platforms, but it's like, I'm entering my villain era, and it's like my villain era is actually just me setting boundaries and expecting reciprocity and, expecting to be respected and things of that nature. And it's like, oh, I'm being so dangerous, when in reality it's like, just treating yourself like you deserve. And sometimes I think that we have this belief that when we start standing up for our worth and we do start stepping into our power, that we're doing the wrong thing. You absolutely do not have to be a woman to resonate with this reading, but I think also for a lot of women, we're taught to play it small and to be what everybody expects you to be and what everyone wants you to be. And then when you start being what you deserve, a lot of people are like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, you're being so selfish, or you're, whatever. And it's like, no, I'm done with the BS. And I feel like that's where you're at. Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. People might make you feel guilty for it, especially if they benefited from you not having boundaries, or if they benefited from you, letting them, walk all over you, or whatever the case is. And sometimes we do it just because it's like, we're just like, it's almost not even worth my time and effort, right? But like, this feels, ooh, okay. Six of Cups, and then here you are with the Queen of Cups. It's facing an experience from your past, a cycle, a person, a situation, but with a completely different mentality. Like, you're different now. You're different now. Because of this, it's like you're different now. So you're handling things differently. At least that's what you're being asked to do, to show up in this new kind of version that you've been transforming into. I'm still shocked that we haven't seen the Death card. The Ace of Pentacles. Whoa. The Hermit. The Seven of Cups. I think, Pisces, what's so interesting about this is a lot of the, oh my gosh, look, the Death card. All of these things that you've been holding on to, or like that, the habits and the patterns and the behaviors, they're very much like what you were taught to do to survive, like taught to maybe take care of everyone else or not have boundaries or to, prioritize everyone else's needs or whatever. And so a lot of what you're going through right now is unlearning. You're unlearning how you have been taught by your parents or by society or by your experiences to survive. And that's, in order for us to fully step into our power, we have to unlearn survival. We have to unlearn what we've been taught to do just to survive. And I feel like that's why maybe this transformation feels like it's taking forever. Because you're having to face, and I feel like it's multiple experiences, like experiences from your past, maybe dynamics with people, or I don't know, but you're having to reapproach cycles, but with a different mentality and mindset, and essentially like power. It's almost like, you break up with someone, right? And say this person was like, didn't treat you well. And because of this, and this is not what happened, okay? I'm not saying this is like this situation, but this is like the example that's coming to mind. And then this person comes back into your life and they try to do the same old stuff. They try to, take advantage of you or not treat you well. And you just go, no, I'm not dealing with it. You set boundaries and you speak up for yourself. And this person is like, who are you? Like, I don't even recognize you anymore. And you're like, good, because I'm a different person now. Like, that's kind of what this energy feels like. But it feels like having to it's almost like having to consistently reaffirm this power. And some days you probably don't feel super powerful. There are probably days where you feel unconfident, and you're, again, second guessing yourself or doubting your worth or whatever the case is. And that's okay, because that's part of the journey. That's part of the process. But you are consistently showing up in this version of you that you're stepping into, and it's going to lead you to incredible things. Like, truly, it's going to lead you to new opportunities. It's going to lead you to completely different experiences. But it kind of is, it's almost like this, I said this at the beginning. I truly believe that obstacles and challenges are opportunities for us to prove that we are the person that we say that we are. We are the person that we say we want to be. They're opportunities for us to show up for the life that we say we want to have. And a lot of times we find ourselves like coming back to the same lesson over and over again, but again, with a different mentality, a different mindset, as a different person. And so as you're facing these things and you're kind of walking through these situations, it's important to have this awareness of saying, this is an opportunity of me to be the version of me that I'm stepping into. And it's going to take like time, and you're not going to be perfect, and there might be times where you make mistakes, and that's okay, but you are truly in a very, very transformative period right now. And allowing yourself to be in the period that you are, because this is an important period, because you wouldn't be stepping in again to this version of yourself if you hadn't have been through everything that you've been through, right? There really is always purpose for our pain. And I think that if we're willing to find that purpose and, willing to fully step into that transmutation of it, we change our lives. I mean, to put it simply. So I feel like looking at, the things in your life that are going on and approaching it with the mentality of like, what would the version of me that I'm stepping into do versus what would the past version of me do? And then trying as hard as you can to keep making decisions from this place of like, what would the version of me that I'm stepping into be? Because before we fully step into like the powerful version of ourselves, we are kind of in an in-between period where we don't really resonate with who we've been, but we don't fully know who we're becoming. And I feel like you're kind of in that in-between period where you're still kind of figuring it out. You're figuring out how you handle things, and that's okay. You're in the process of becoming. And ultimately what it is it's returning. We are powerful beings. You always have been powerful and worthy and deserving. This world and the things that you've been through have taught you otherwise, which is why I said it's an unlearning, right? So actually, I don't even think that the word becoming is actually the best word. It's returning. You're returning back to, your powerful version of yourself. To you, almost like coming home to yourself. It's actually a really cool reading. I really, really like this reading. So what does Pisces need to know moving forward? Where is this all leading Pisces to? Every time I ask that question, I keep looking at good fortune. I feel like it's leading you to good fortune. The Chariot, the Emperor. Oof, I love this energy. The Chariot and the Emperor. Oh, it gives me chills. It's so powerful. It's so like, but not in like a controlling way. Not in like a, it's so, I don't know the right word. Five of Wands with the Sun. You know how I describe this energy? So I'm just gonna give a example through a story. You have the Sun, the Two of Cups, and then the Five of Wands here. I went through an experience with an emotionally abusive relationship 6 years ago now. But I talk about this relationship a lot on this channel because it changed me in so many ways. At first for the worst, eventually for the better. And it broke me down in ways that I've never heard like that before this relationship happened. But because of it, I also picked myself back up. And I learned how to love myself. And I learned how to set boundaries. And I learned how to not take shit. And I learned that I don't need people to love me and value me. I need to love me and value me. And because of that energy, I've been able to, over a lot of healing and growth, I've been able to eventually attract my husband, who is the best person I've ever met, truly, a dream come true. But I think that the coolest part of my healing and my growth was looking back at that relationship that was just, it hurt me for so long because I could not fathom how somebody could treat me that way. And now, sitting in the energy that I'm sitting in, I look back and it's like, this person has no power over me anymore. They have no power over my happiness. They have no power over my ability to be loved. They have no power over how I am so indifferent about that situation. And when I realized that for the first time, it was a few years ago, but when I realized that for the first time, it was just this freedom where I was like, I realized for the first time, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to give my power to other people. Other people don't have control. People who harm me or people who don't treat me well or people who don't value me, they don't dictate my life. They don't dictate my ability to be successful or to be happy or to be loved. I get to dictate that. And stepping into that powerful energy was truly, truly one of the best experiences of my life because it was essentially like, okay, now I get to create a life that aligns with my value and my worth because I'm no longer looking for other people to see it, but I know it. And I knew it so deeply because so many people, by not valuing me and not treating me well, actually taught me to value myself. So this is what this energy feels like. It feels like it's getting to this point where you go, like, especially if it's something that has harmed you or like something that has had so much power and control over you for so long and going, that doesn't get to affect me anymore. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm happy and I'm abundant and I'm fulfilled. And it's not because of that person like that or that thing or that situation. Like that has no power and effect over me anymore. And it's all because of the work that you're doing. And then you have the Sun, you have the Two of Cups. Like this is such a beautiful energy, Pisces. So trust where this is all taking you. Trust the transformation because where you're heading is, first of all, so much better than where you've been. And second of all, where you're heading is where you've been deserving of being all along. It's just that you were looking for it maybe in the wrong spaces. But you had to kind of reach that point of going, I'm done, I'm over it, to get to these spaces. So I absolutely freaking love this energy for you guys. It is, it's so good. And it's also all you. This is you. This is you putting in the work and doing the damn thing, Pisces. But I'm going to hop on over to the extended where we're going to dive deeper into this, looking at the what you're needing to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So looking more at the tangible advice from your spiritual team. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Pisces.